Hi dancers, welcome to SKR Yoga and Wellness. My name is Sam and today we are doing a class to help you find a stronger port de bras. So I'm sure you've heard this in ballet class before, but you always want to feel your port de bras coming from the center of your back. The problem with this is if we haven't actually worked on strengthening those muscles right between your shoulder blades and surrounding your shoulder blades, that can be really hard to feel. So that's what this class is aiming to do, to really strengthen that space in between your shoulder blades, strengthen your lats, which also help with back stability, and help you find that feeling of being really wide across the back so you can have a really solid port de bras. So you won't need any props for this class, just your mat, and we're gonna get started on your back. Flipping onto your back, feet are about hip width distance apart, and you wanna be able to touch your heels with your fingertips. And right away, let's feel your shoulder blades wide across the mat here. And you can just place your hands down the mat beside you. You're gonna push into your feet to lift your hips up off the mat, finding a bridge pose. And instead of trying to arch the back here, let's try to keep the stomach nice and flat. So we're making a straight line from your shoulders all the way to your knees. And then from here, you're gonna interlace your hands behind you and try to stretch out your elbows so that those clasped hands come flat onto the mat. Really push through those heels, squeeze your glutes together. Feel nice and solid in this position. We're gonna be here for 5 more seconds. And release those hands, lower your hips onto the floor. Very good. From here, you're gonna roll onto your right side and just try to keep your feet in line with your hips here. So we're in one straight line, and you're gonna have both of your hands out in front of you. Palms can come together to touch. You're gonna take your top arm and we're gonna just do some circles. So you're gonna lift it up overhead, reaching it to the back. Try not to roll back here. Keep your shoulders stacked. And then let the arms circle behind you, coming back down. And we'll do 3 more like that. So rolling up and over. And twice more. You can go slow or as quick as you would like here. For me, I find kind of a sticky moment towards the back here as my chest opens up, so I like to slow down a little bit there, feel that stretch, and then continue. This will be our last one. Nice big circles, and finish, and we'll roll onto the other side, repeating that same thing with those arm circles. So coming onto your left side now, arms are up in front of you. And then lifting that arm up overhead. Remembering not to roll, keep your shoulders stacked. And second circle, we'll do 4 in total. Remembering to breathe as we do this. Feel all of those juicy moments in this stretch here through your chest. Nice, and we will flip onto your stomach. We're gonna stretch into the chest even more here. You have the option of bringing your hands into a 90-degree angle here, like a cactus shape, or having your hands flat out beside you in line with your shoulders. You're gonna bend your left arm in and then decide what variation you'd like to do with your right arm. Bend both of your knees, and then you're just gonna roll onto your right side, keeping that right arm opened up underneath you. So I don't know if you can see in the camera, but I am doing the 90-degree angle variation with my left elbow, or sorry, my right elbow. So I feel a bit more of a stretch here, but it might be different for you. You might feel it more with that arm fully extended out to the side. Ideally, what we're searching for is a stretch in the front of your chest. So just in front of that right shoulder is what we're trying to find. I tend to hold a lot of tension in this area, so this is one of my favorite stretches to do. We'll take 1 more breath here before we go to the other side. And flipping back over. Keep your knees bent, we'll just switch up the arms. Rolling onto your left side now. Relax your neck onto the mat. Remembering to breathe. Feel that we're lengthening into your chest. We'll take 3 more deep breaths here. And coming all the way back onto your belly. Now from here, you're going to keep your legs extended up behind you and just bring your hands up to hover off the mat, right beside your ear. We're going to do about 5 baby cobras here. So on an inhale, you're just going to lift your shoulders up off the mat as high as they'll go without any help from your hands. And then exhale, coming back onto the mat. Inhale, lift. Exhale, release. Try to keep your feet in contact with the floor as we do this. Remember to breathe on the way up. Inhale, up. And exhale, down. Last one. Inhale, extend. And exhale, release. We'll come all the way up onto all fours. So bring your knees under your hips. Hands right under your shoulders. And you're actually also going to extend out your left leg. So extend your left leg out, bring the sole of your foot flat on the floor, and then on an inhale, you're gonna reach your right arm up towards the sky, and then on an exhale, thread that arm through the space here, letting your shoulder and right ear collapse onto the mat. If it's within reach, you can try to grab your big toe with your 2-piece fingers on your right hand. So this not only opens up the shoulder blades at the back, but it also might provide a little bit of a stretch through the left leg here. And I'm gonna actually take my left arm and place it on my lower back. You're welcome to do the same, or you can keep your left hand on the mat underneath you where it was. We'll take another 3 breaths here, not too long. And we'll release by placing your left hand back onto the mat if it was on your back. And then on an inhale, reach that right arm back up overhead. See if you can reach farther. And then place it down onto the mat. We're going to reverse to the other side. So now reaching your right leg out, keep the sole of your foot flat on the floor. So you're on a bit of a sickle here. And then you're going to inhale the left arm up. Exhale, thread the needle. Grab a hold of your toe if you can. And rest your body down onto the mat. If you'd like to bring your right hand to your lower back, you can do that now. Feeling long between the shoulder blades, long through that right leg. Taking 3 more breaths here. And place your right hand back down onto the mat. Inhale, push yourself up. Extend that left arm and place it back down on the mat. We're going to come to our first down dog right away. So walk your hands out, tuck your toes, and then push and lift your hips up. And right away, let's paddle through the feet, bending and stretching your knees. And then let's settle, sending both heels into the mat. Feet are hip-width distance apart here. Feel that you're pushing into your thumb and pointer finger here. And allowing your shoulder blades to slide down your back, away from your ears. Nice and long through the spine. And on your next inhale, we'll gently lift the right leg up. Keep it square, knee pointing towards the floor. Bend it through, step between the palms. We're gonna spin your back heel so it's parallel to the short edge of your mat. Windmill the arms up to find your warrior 2 position. And right away here, feel those shoulder blades nice and wide across your back, reaching all the way through to the tips of your fingers. So finding this long and strong position here for 2 more breaths. And from here, we're gonna release the right hand down onto the mat, reaching your left arm up and over. We're in our extended side angle here. You are welcome to stay in this variation, or if you'd like, you can take your bind, taking your right arm under that leg, and then grab a hold of your left wrist with your right hand, trying as best as you can to open up that left shoulder towards the ceiling. So finding a opening through the chest, reaching your heart towards the sky as best as you can. We're only here for a couple more breaths. And if you were in your bind, release back to your extended side angle, and we will windmill back to warrior 2. Rotate this back arm, twist your back heel, so we're coming to a high lunge. From here, you're gonna release your left arm. Right arm will bend behind you. Left arm will bend underneath, trying to grasp a hold of your hands behind you. You might only be able to touch with your fingertips here. If your hands are really far apart, it might help just to kind of grab onto your shirt, or maybe grab a strap to close that gap between your hands. Reaching through those shoulders. And from here, we'll release the arms, bring your hands onto your hips, and then straighten that front leg. Let's toe heel your back foot in a few inches until it's at a 45-degree angle this time to the front of the mat. So we can square up your hips and shoulders to the front. And now here you have an option with your arms. You can either grab opposite elbows behind you, or you're gonna take a prayer position, but reverse it behind you. So try to get your palms all the way together. It'll really force you to open up your chest here. Whatever variation you're doing, on an inhale, grow and get taller. On an exhale, release forward. Let's stay about halfway, so we're parallel to the floor. So you can really feel that prayer position behind you with a long, long spine. Breathing deep here, taking 3 breaths, maintaining that long, open chest. And from here, you're gonna release your hands. Keep your body where it is though, and then take your left hand and your fingertips are gonna come down onto the mat beside your right foot. Your right hand will come to your hip, and on an exhale, you're gonna twist towards the right. So we're coming to this revolved position, and you might feel a bit of an intense stretch to your right leg. If you feel comfortable here, you may add your right arm up over top, finding a revolved triangle. This is a bit of an extreme twist through the body, so if it feels uncomfortable, you can place your right hand back down onto your hip. Make sure you're breathing deep into your belly button here. We'll take one more deep breath. And from here, you're gonna keep your left hand where it is, bend through the right knee, step your left leg out, finding your easy twist. So coming back to that lunge, but easing off the twist a little bit. Feel a nice long line from your left hand all the way up to the tips of your right fingers. And from here, we're gonna transition into side plank. So rolling to the outside edge of your left foot, attaching your right heel, stacking them on top of each other, and reaching that right arm up towards the sky. Feel that shoulder blade pushing away from the floor and wrapping around the back of your rib cage. So we're nice and long through both arms, long through the spine, keeping your hips pushed up, up, up. We'll take 2 more breaths here. And release that right hand back down onto the mat. And we're gonna come right away onto your elbows. And from here, in this lowered plank position, you're gonna walk your toes in, lifting your hips up towards the sky as much as you can, and you might feel a stretch through your shoulders here. You want to really push the floor away from you, push into those elbows. Keep pressure through your palms and your fingertips. And from here on an inhale, you're just gonna pitch forward as far as you can go with your upper body, and then push yourself back on the exhale. Inhale forward, exhale to push. Inhale forward, exhale to push. 2 more, you got this. This is the hardest part of class. And inhale forward, last one. Exhale to push. And now walk your feet back out. Keep your elbows where they are, but lower your hips onto the mat. Coming to Sphinx pose. Nice and easy. Release through the back. Keep your chest open wide. Bringing your breath back to a normal pace. Feel your belly expanding against the mat. And we will release back down. Tuck your toes and make your way back into that downward dog. We're gonna take a couple of breaths here. Notice if your shoulders feel different in this moment. And we're gonna go ahead and even ourselves out. So on your inhale, lift the left leg up, keep it square. Exhale, step it forward, spin the back foot, and windmill, finding your warrior 2. Long and strong across the back. Shoulder blades are tugging away from your ears. Nice long line from fingertip to fingertip. And from here, we're gonna come into our extended side angle with that hand down on the floor, reaching up and over through that right hand. And now you can stay here in this position, or just like we did on the first side, you can progress. This time your left hand is going to grab a hold of your right wrist, trying to open up that right shoulder as much as you can. And one side might feel totally different than the other, and that's okay. For me, my bind on this side feels very different. 2 more breaths here. And we'll release, coming back to that extended side angle position before we windmill the arms, push yourself back up to warrior 2. And then you're gonna rotate your back arm, lift your back heel, finding your high lunge. And now this time we're coming into archer arms on the left side. So your left hand will come to your back behind your head. Right hand reaches underneath, reaching for those fingertips. This is also one of those poses that feels very different on my right shoulder compared to my left. I can't go quite as far on this side, which is okay. Just noticing those differences in your body is what's important. And we'll release those hands, bring them onto your hips, straighten your front leg, and we're gonna step the back foot in a few inches. Right foot is now at a 45-degree angle. We're square to the front. Same thing here, you're either going to find reverse prayer or grab a hold of opposite elbows, but either way we inhale to grow tall, exhale to fold halfway, and we'll hold here, but continue to breathe. Keep your elbows lifted, keep your chest opening wide. And we'll release the right hand down onto the mat. Left hand will come onto your hip. On an exhale, you're gonna open up towards the left. Try to keep your hips totally square as we do this. And then once you find your position, and if you feel comfortable and sturdy, you can go ahead and add that left arm up overhead. So this is our revolved triangle. Nice big twist in the upper body. Breathing deep into your navel. And from here, we're gonna bend through that left knee, plant your right palm and step it back, finding your easy twist Take a nice few deep breaths here before we go into that challenging last portion of our flow. And here we go. We're gonna rotate onto the outside of your right foot, stacking the feet, lifting the hips as high as they'll go, and then feel that right shoulder blade fully supporting you, wrapping around your rib cage. Nice and long through that top arm, reaching, reaching, reaching. Taking 3 more breaths. And we'll release into plank and coming down onto your elbows. Feel nice and long through your body first, and then we'll walk the feet in, lifting the hips, finding your dolphin pose. Push those shoulder blades down your back. Try to keep a long neck, even as we take our 5 dips forward. So inhale, coming forward. Exhale, push into the elbows. Inhale, come forward again. Exhale, back. Inhale, take it forward. Keep those abs engaged. Exhale, back. And last 2. Inhale, forward. Exhale, push back. Inhale, forward. You got this. Exhale, push into those elbows. Take yourself back. Walk your feet out. Lower the hips. Finding Sphinx pose. Feeling wide through the chest. Make sure you continue to push your shoulders down and away from your ears. Feel your belly expanding on the mat. Take 3 more breaths here in the Sphinx pose. And tucking your hands in, send your hips back. We'll come to a wide-legged child's pose. Toes together, knees as wide as you would like them. And then allow your hands reaching forward, forehead to melt onto the mat. And then just breathe here. Allow your heart rate to return to normal. Feel any radiating body heat. Feel as though your hips are relaxing towards your heels and becoming more weighted. Breathing from a very deep place. Take 3 more breaths. And slowly walk your hands in, lift your forehead off the mat. We're going to come back to an all-fours position, coming into puppy pose. So from this position on all fours, keep your hips square right on top of your knees here. As we walk your hands forward, your elbows and forehead can melt onto the mat. You're going to bring the palms together and then lift your hands so your thumbs come to the center of your neck behind you. So you might feel a nice deep stretch to the triceps and into the shoulders. Maybe a little bit into the back, between the shoulder blades. But wherever you feel this from, try to relax into that stretch. Let's keep your belly button pulling in here so your abs are still engaged. Hips are still over top of your knees. Take 3 more breaths. And we'll release the hands back onto the mat, walk them in, lift your head up. And we're going to swing our legs forward, right in front of us. Take your right heel, you're going to bring it in to the inside of your left thigh. Keep your left foot flexed here as we do this, but your heel can stay on the ground. We're going to inhale, reach the arms up nice and tall. exhale forward, and let's take the right hand. You're gonna reach towards the outside of that left foot if you can. If it's not accessible, you can rest your hands on the mat. Otherwise, find that cross and then release your head. So we are curving the spine here. We're not keeping the spine long. You're curving over top of that front leg, and you might feel a stretch in between those shoulder blades, maybe into your lats, coming down the side of your back. And then, as always, wherever you feel this most, imagine you're sending your breath directly to that muscle, or that muscle group, so that you can find length and relaxation. Take one final breath here. We'll release the whole of that foot and roll yourself back up. Right away, switching legs, so right leg extends, left leg will come in. Keep that right foot flexed. Inhale, both arms up, sitting nice and tall. Exhale, we're gonna fold, this time grabbing the outside of your right foot with your left hand, and then release your weight down. So the weight of your head is pulling you forward and farther into the stretch. Remembering to breathe into wherever you feel this the most. Relax through that left shoulder blade. And we're going to release the hold of that foot. Walk yourself back in. And you can stay facing where you are, but I'm just going to turn and face you. We have one more stretch for our upper body before we come into Shavasana. So I'm going to do this in a cross-legged position, but you are welcome to come into what's called cow's face pose or knee pile, which basically looks something like this, where your right knee will be stacked on top of your left. This causes a little bit of discomfort in my low back these days, so I'm just gonna take that right leg and I'm gonna come to a cross-legged position. You're welcome to do either variation. This variation is just as good. We wanna focus on the upper back more so. So you're gonna reach your arms out, and then you're going to cross your right arm underneath your left, crossing once or twice, so your hands come together in front of you. And then from here, you're just gonna let your upper body curve forward as far down as it'll go. Stretching again, that space in between the shoulder blades. And of course, if you're in the cow's face variation that I showed you the first time around, you might not go down as far, which is totally fine. As long as you're feeling some length and space through the back here, that's really what we're aiming for. And on your next inhale, we'll come back to your seated position first with those eagle arms, and then extend them out. From wherever you are, we're just gonna switch legs. So if you are in cow's face, you're gonna take your left leg and stack it on top, or you're gonna take that left leg and sit cross-legged as I am. And now we're gonna do the opposite arms. We're gonna take our left arm, cross it under the right, crossing once or twice, palms come together, sitting up tall. And then on an exhale, folding forward, opening up through the back. Really let your neck relax and let your head pull you farther into the stretch here. So in this instance, gravity is really doing a lot of the work. And you might find if you fully relax your neck, that you'll be able to get deeper into this stretch here. Continue to breathe deeply. Feel that space between your shoulder blades opening up nice and wide. And on your next inhale, push to sit up. Let the arms release to the sides. And we're going to lower all the way down into Shavasana. We won't be here for too long, just about a minute. But while we're here, really feel your shoulder blades against the floor. Allow your palms to face up towards the ceiling. And we're really going to take this entire Shavasana to just focus on how your shoulder blades come in contact with the floor. One side might feel slightly different than the other. Try to feel that these shoulders are melting into the mat. So we're releasing any tension. Feel any sensations you might be experiencing through the shoulders and through the shoulder blades. And we're going to take another 5 to 10 deep breaths, continuing to feel that sensation open up wide and melt the shoulders into the mat. Start to wiggle your fingers and toes. Let your head roll from side to side. We'll roll onto your right side to make your way up to a seated position in whatever way is most comfortable for you. And once you've arrived, sitting up nice and tall, right on the sit bones, feel wide through the back and through the shoulders as we bring our hands together in front of the heart and bending forward. Namaste. Thank you so much, dancers, for doing this practice with me. I love doing classes for the upper body and the shoulders, so I hope you're feeling nice and open and wide through the chest. Please, before you go, do not forget to like and subscribe to SKR Yoga and Wellness. I release new classes just like this every single Friday. So that's all for today, and I will see you on the mat again very soon. Bye.